How do you feel about TA at the moment? Because it feels like ever since, I mean, it's weird, right? Because Kunkka and TA both had the same treatment, and yet Kunkka has been banned in the first phase a crap ton, and TA seems to still be a pretty popular pick with certain teams.
I'm certain about that.
Because it feels like, especially Kunkka, a lot of people are like, ah, man, this hero's dead after they nerfed Tidebringer. But
No,
to me,
I
it's the
don't think.
boat run buff, right? It's always been the
Yeah,
run buff.
it's always been the boat. Like the thing about Kunkka is, I mean, not only about the boat because
What's the biggest factor? But X as well, right?
this dude with the Tidebringer would win almost 90% of the lanes that he's in. You know, like he just denies. You can't do anything versus him, and that's a problem. Uh, but TA had a similar thing as well, right? She could deny just everything away from you, and now they're pretty much on the same page, the TA and the Kunkka. They've both been nerfed when it comes to denies, and we'll see how it will pan out this game around. But I have to agree with your point that that boat is usually the most important aspect of this hero. Later on, you can either build into some utility, you can either build into some like elusiveness plus utility, like some halberd radiance, something like that, or you could go for those crits, you know, and just be a maniac that one shots this poor shadow demon, let's say. But overall, I still do think that the hero is all right. It's a good hero, and they go with a bat next. All right, we're gonna see some universe bat rider.
I guess it's pretty good in this game because Liquid have already revealed too much potential off lane, so there's no chance there's like a final pick Legion, for example, right? That completely ruins Batrider's game or his ability to initiate.
Slark is banned out by Team Liquid already. It's one of those heroes that's really good versus Bat on the lane. Now you have to think about, but there are many heroes that are good versus Bat still in the pool on that safe lane, you know. You could go for an Ix, which is good with Sand King and Centaur as well.
PL is another.
Yeah, PL is another definitely a hero that maybe would struggle a little bit versus ET, Kunkka, and Rubik. There's a lot of AoE, you know, that's the problem. Another one is Jug, obviously, that you could go for. But there are some saves versus Jug, so we'll see what they opt to do on Team Liquid, but they definitely do have options and ways of dealing with this Batrider pick. Like, they don't have to pick something like a Legion Commander or whatever. They do have ways of dealing with him, and after all, if this Shadow Demon gets an Etherlance at some point, the person that's like Batrider jumps in, lassos, you just use that disruption on the hero and you're fine, or on the bat.
Okay, so final ban's going to be a Naga. It's kind of interesting the way I've seen teams prioritize this, because is it me or do Nagas always just build stupidly tanky? And a lot of the Naga drafts tend to be focused similar to an anti-mage one, and you're relying on this Naga that never has the damage, right?
10 seconds remaining.
I feel like that's the nature of most pro games. Like in pub games, I see how it can work because it's just like one. In pub games, you have a different mentality where it's like, okay, I just need to do the best I can do, relying on myself for the most, right? I was especially talking to like Adam about this the other day. That's a huge thing in SEA, especially where like you get to a point. I mean, we get it in EU, CIS, everything, right? You'll build like a Solar Crest. Your teammate will do something stupid, and then you just don't trust them. The next game, where a Solar Crest will be really good, you're like, no, I'm gonna build, I don't know, a Basha or a Midas or something that just gives me stuff.
I mean, that's like something that we all carry from our pubs, you know. It has no place in pro scene. It has no place in team games because they ban out the Jug and they pick the Ix. I mean, this is a good play, and now the only thing that you can do on Team Liquid is get that PL. I mean, not the only thing. I'm sure they have some other options, but PL would definitely be one of those heroes that's decent. Like, you could go for something like a Troll as well, I guess, versus the Bat and the Lifestealer. It's a hero that has a lot of base damage, slow versus Bat, you know. So you could roll that too. But more to your point that you mentioned before, you have to trust your teammates, no matter how stupid they are, no matter how many mistakes they do, because like maybe they fail one game, but they won't fail the next one, you know, and that's what it is. And it's very interesting for me that they pick Void. They do have some damage in the pit, I guess, with the Sand King, but not a lot. Like, they don't have too much damage. And also, they're playing versus Kunkka that we mentioned before. And by the way, Universe is playing Kunkka and Gunnar is on Batrider. So I wasn't certain if they're gonna do this, but it is something that has been done before. Like Bet can completely destroy TA on the mid lane, but we'll see how well it will go for him.
Yeah, I mean, Batrider used to be a really popular thing for a while in the mid. It kind of fell off a bit after the changes to how close the towers were in the mid lane, right? When the lane became shorter, you had less value out of that chase down with the Firefly because it was harder to find those kills. But this could work. Do you feel like it's better if you're running Batrider mid on the safe on the Radiant side compared to the Dire side, though, because you have easier access to your jungle or quicker?
Oh yeah, certainly. It's just a little bit easier to even stack that camp and just farm it after, you know. But I don't think it makes too much of a difference when your game plan is about dominating the lane. Like that camp there is good, but it's not really your priority. Your priority is to just dominate the lane as much as possible. When you pick a counter pick like this, your priority is to counter the hero and dominate it in the lane. So you shouldn't really be thinking about that jungle.
We'll see how it goes. So far for the group stage, when it kind of came to the way that NiP was drafting this style, where they've been taking things mid that might usually go in the safe lane. Yesterday, I believe, and the day before, it was quite regularly Gyrocopter, for example. It has been backfiring a decent amount. Whereas when they've given Gunnar, let's call them your more traditional mids, right? Like an Invoker shows up in the game. He's very clearly been dominating his lane and kind of spiraling out of control. I guess it's like a choice between I think in a lot of their drafts at the moment I've noticed NiP, like I don't know if you feel this one is the same, where they've reached a point where they're trying to kind of recover the draft by sticking the Batrider mid instead of like this was how we wanted to go, this was planned.
I mean, you know what, like they dig their own grave, you know, and that's what it is if you think that way. Like this is a good matchup for them. This is a good laning matchup for them. Is it like a good meta matchup overall? Is it a good hero to go mid in the current meta? That's always the problem. Sometimes you want to counter a hero, you do that, you know, you put this guy that isn't really even comfortable on the hero on that lane, and then it doesn't work out because it doesn't matter. Like I was always saying the same thing. If you have a guy that played 1,000 games on one hero, he'll play versus the counter all right as well. Like you counter him, it doesn't matter. Like he'll still play all right. Like he'll still find his farm. He'll still have impact. While if you put a guy that doesn't play some hero a lot on that hero, it doesn't matter if he's like if he's in a good lane, when he doesn't really understand the power spikes on that hero and he can't really like make the most out of it on that lane. He can't crush, you know. So in my opinion, it's always the best to just give the player his comfort zone heroes, and that's it. But when you're playing on a level such as this one in 2019, I think every single hero should be your comfort zone pretty much.
Yeah, it's fair. You get into a stage where the differential between players is getting smaller and smaller because, you know, you look at the Universe, for example, how many years he's been playing.
Exactly.
Probably maybe one, maybe two heroes that he doesn't feel comfortable on fully, but he should be able to play every single hero in the game now pretty adequately.
Qualifiers is actually winning mid so far when it comes to denies and last hits, even though Gunnar has more. Qualifier denied one range creep and killed one, so that's a big win for him. That's why Gunnar is still level 1, while Qualifier is already 2. And he gets that one deny. So they're it went back into Gunnar's, I think, favor now on this mid lane.
It's kind of surprising that Elam have that range deny. I guess he's worried about coming too far forward because of the sudden spiral with Firefly.
Yeah, and napalm stacks, you don't really want to get too many of those on you, so he needs to go back, reset a little bit.
Well, the bot lane should, for the most, I'd say, not have action, right? Because you've got the rage to protect yourself, and Insania can save or stop a gank with a disruption.
Yeah, Nyx was usually considered a hero that wins versus Scent, right? So it's a hero that just chews through him and heals up a lot with open wounds and rage. Then again, it's not the same Centaur like before. Centaur has been changed a little bit. He's been tweaked with this spell called Retaliate. That's pretty good, I hear. So Nyx has to be careful in this lane too, but I think the way they laned anyway, NiP, the way they laned is good. And you can see Skitter just getting like 3 waves under his tower right now on this bottom lane. He's gonna get a lot of farm out of it.
That's true. You get to the stage where Centaur, maybe he like gets all the points up in the retaliate, so 13 stacks, and then maybe you ask for a rotation and can easily kill the lifestealer.
PPD has been caught here, but can they block him? No, they can't.
Oh, he's got the stomp. Didn't use it though.
He actually, yeah, he wasn't leveling it for some reason, and he leveled it before, just as PPD came out of disruption. I don't get it though, but yeah.
Maybe it's the mana side of things, right? Because like he's brought no like mangoes out, and PPD does have a decent amount of regen still.
And PPD is pretty much helping Skitter a lot here. Like he's messing with their pulls, he's playing around them on the left side, while Skitter is just getting a lot of creeps under his tower. As you can see, 11 CS versus 12 of Centaur, but you know, it's to be expected. It's not an easy lane, and it is the off lane that Nike is playing. What about the top though? What's happening over here? Void 13 CS versus 12 of Kunkka. Universe doing pretty fine too.
Yeah, so they almost got a kill on Beaver as well. He's on his way back to base right now.
Yeah, so overall this laning stage of NiP is alright. The only problem is the Batrider not completely shutting down the TA. TA actually has 2 more CS.
Oh, bot. They find PPD.
There we go.
They actually used the stomp after they leveled it this time.
Yeah, because Boxy is level 3 this time around, and he has level 2 retaliate, so they understand that they do have enough damage this time around to take him down. That's all. Then again, look at all these creeps coming Nike's way, you know, so even though they get a kill on PPD, which is good, they are pushing the lane quite hard, and Skitter is getting far.
Fair point. So far, they're about even, though. Like you said, Centaur should do fine, especially with the way Retaliate works now. It's not like Skitter can just keep hitting him until he leaves. Meanwhile,
PPD finds a DD.
They're going to try for Tiger here. They got the Torrent.
Get him.
He's got the Burrow Strike, so this would be a hard kill. Oh, there it is.
Easy.
He was holding. He might have got a... I mean, it was level 1 Burrow Strike. It would have been very hard to get out of range in time, but...
He could have tried, I guess, but also Beaver had Fate Bolt coming off of cooldown in like 3 seconds, so it was very difficult for him to survive. There's a DD on the bottom lane, though. They're trying to go on Skitter, but he has that rage, so they're just zoning him. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, if they could find PPD forward, he doesn't have a stout shield. That would be the one to kill again.
I just have to say, I love the way NiP played this bottom lane. I mean, Centaur does have 24 CS, but they could have completely destroyed Skitter on this bottom lane. They could have made him have no CS, but he has 20. He has 20 CS because of PPD and what he has done. Like, he messed with the equilibrium of the lane. He denied them to stack pull and to link pull. And because of that, creeps were constantly shoving into Skitter, which was pretty good, pretty well played by the two of them.
Yeah, NiP have, like, they've identified the fact that Liquid, I'd say they have a more aggressive laning phase, right? Whereas NiP's got very defensive heroes, like Beaver, who might be going down this time. He dodged death before. There is a stick on Tiger. So in 3 seconds, they can finish Beaver off. Universe is like, no, please. Not my support.
I'm actually surprised he... Like, when they went on him, he could have mangoed Fate Bolt them, and then they don't deal nearly as much damage, right? So, he'd probably... I mean, maybe he dies still, but he'd have bigger chances of survival.
I think it's like he knows the Burrow Straight's coming again, right? So, in his eyes, like, okay, I'll probably die here regardless. I don't want to waste this mango. Alright, I'm a support. Money's hard. DK is going to get pummeled a little bit hard. Down to half HP, but now the Bash Love. Let's see if he's got the luck that Nico Baby's been having on his voids. I don't think he does. That's actually kind of insane, the amount of void that's just still getting picked at the moment. I don't feel like I've seen many teams try and expand the horizons to a counter, right? Like, do you feel that way as well? It's just everyone's fighting over void for the most?
There's no counters. Like, when this hero is good, he's the best. When he's not nerfed, I mean, he's the best, because how do you counter? I mean, there's Raid King, right? There's Raid King pretty much, and that's it.
Yeah. Like, I've seen maybe one team get Raid King. That's the only one I can think of, because, like, you're right. It's, if you're up against the Void, you're kind of submitting someone on your team is going to die, right?
Mid lane.
Jump in. Oh, Sleeper's out. Gunner trying to move away, but not fast enough. And Boxy will just run him through.
It's really bad for them. Even with PPD rotating in and trying to save him, they don't manage to. And why is this bad? Because you have this Batrider that's supposed to be dominating and crushing this mid lane, and instead he's the one that isn't dominating, and also he's the one that's dying after one quick rotation. It reminds me a lot of the Kunkka versus Monkey King scenario. Yeah, Monkey King might win the lane a little bit and pressure Kunkka, but once a few levels are up, like let's say level 5, you X mark the Monkey, and with one rotation you can take him down. He's too squishy. It's very similar what's happening here right now, as this Batrider just falls. But he does make a rotation on the bottom lane. Let's see if they can take down Boxy.
Oh, Boxy did come to his lane. Gunner's just returned the favor. The Rage is going to be used, but the disruption stops them from going deeper, and Boxy starts to stampede to get Insania out. They might need to lasso here. It doesn't feel good to have to do that for the Shadow Demon, but at least you force Boxy to use his ultimate.
I think if Insania doesn't board there, Boxy could live, as he just got his level 6. They went on him while he was 5. They expected him to not have that ulti, but once he gets that ult, they can't take him down anymore. He's fine.
Even
with the lasso. Yeah.
He tried for the boat combo, it was off the mark, so Mike got away alive. He does now have 6, so it's going to be a little bit harder to bully his Void. There is always now a threat. Tiger needs to get 6 soon, so they can actually have a combo though. They don't really, like, I think right now, when you look at the early Chronos, the only person who provides any damage is Insania, in reality, right? If you, like, don't get someone on the edge where TA can hit them.
Yeah, you have to get them on the edge, or wait for the Blink Dagger on the Sand King at some point, right? So that he can jump in and use that epicenter. But overall, their lineup doesn't really do way too much in that Chronosphere. But right now, when you pick a Void, you go for this build like Power Treads into Midas, and you build him as like the solo damage dealer in that, you know, in that Chrono. It doesn't matter. Like,
I think
you can still take a target down. You get a few time locks off, and you can kill anyone.
I think I've seen like 2 builds. If you're trailing behind on your Midas timing by a minute or 2, you just say, okay, Maelstrom's better at this stage, right? But yeah, it's those 2 builds, and I think I feel like that's another big reason we just see so much Shadow Demon, is he has this save, right? And saves are becoming more popular again because of Faceless Void more than anything else. It just makes his life impossible when you've got heroes in the game like Wyvern and Shadow Demon, even Elder Titan, until you get your hands on a BKB.
It definitely is a bit more difficult, and you have to play around that or catch those heroes first, right? That's also an option. On the bottom lane, they have caught someone out.
They caught someone top as well.
Someone is
Tiger.
Skitter.
Tiger's gone down. Skitter walks away.
Yeah, Skitter is just fine. He rages out, and they don't have the damage to kill him. That's the problem. Like the thing that we talked about earlier, or the thing that we just mentioned. Void has that chrono, but you don't really have a lot of... You can't really use it right now. There's no damage. You can't. You need to wait. You can't take down almost anyone.
The good news for Mike, although he can't use his Chronos right now, he is going to get the Midas quicker than Skitter at this rate. By about a wave, maybe, or half a wave. So that's not too bad. And I definitely feel like Void's going to be involved quicker once he has that Midas than the Lifestealer, right?
You might have to wait a little bit, because Universe is rotating bottom, and they have...
He has the Chrono. You don't want to have to use it like this. But okay, you don't have to use it at all.
Universe?
An unusual misclick from Universe?
Yep. X marks the spot on who, though? Skitter? I guess.
He's looking out for us, Skitter. He's like, you're young. You don't understand how these kind of ganks backfire, right? We've got to have a little bit of insurance policy.
He had some TI flashbacks from 2015 or something, so...
One moment can change a game, Liz. You know how it is.
Definitely.
I thought that PPD was the one who was meant to keep control of Skitter.
In any case, though, Skitter just continues farming. He has that Midas recipe flying in, while Void does not, actually. So, you were wrong. Void was pressured out of the lane, and because of that, Nyx gets it first. Probably going to go for that Radiance next. Yeah, he is. It's a pretty good build versus these heroes, versus the TA, versus the Void.
No, I may be wrong, Liz, but it's not my job to be right, so I'll take that. He's got it now. It's just the courier is nowhere nearby. Oh, this feels bad.
That's the saddest thing. You buy a Midas and you can't get the courier. It's really sad. But mid lane, however, he has been caught on this TA. There is Kunkka with the X as well, and
the X is the right target this time. And here comes the boat. Last two to just ensure there's no escape because the Stampede was used. They make the best of it on the side of Liquid as they do at least take the tier 1 top, but that was a costly kill. Top net worth here in the game does go down.
Yeah, that's a really good play by PPD to set that up. Like everyone else was showing on the map, so they couldn't just TP in and catch her. But with PPD being there, he manages to get that Echo Stomp off.
I guess the good news for the TA and Liquid in that case, going down like that, is your laning opponent is a Batrider. He's not going to push your tower. He's not really going to get some serious damage in there.
And you're fat, like crazy fat on this TA. 103 CS, 13 minutes in. I mean, considering he played versus a Batrider. Oh,
I'm not,
just gets out.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, it looked like they thought Beaver could get there in time. But even if he does, I'm not sure if you can kill Mike. Not with these heroes, anyway.
No, you can't. Like, you don't have the damage. Like, you can't be not sure. Because I can tell you for sure that they can't kill him unless they get him to like 50% or something first.
I mean, maybe Peter just doesn't like trees. Maybe he wishes Timbersaw 5 was a thing. Oh, that shouldn't be happening. Oh.
Yeah, that retaliate hit. That's it. Like one hit necessary, and the courier is dead.
Awkward mistake.
It's a very passive game. You can see that on both sides they just don't possess the amount of damage necessary to take down these big targets. Only when, let's say, a TA is completely out of position. For Liquid, it's this Sand King. They need to wait for the dagger.
They went for the Void, the makeshift Void rather, as the Rubik does have the time walk to get out. And now Void on the low ground. Oh no, Disruption saves the day though. They'll still drag the ball away. They exit back.
You see, it's so difficult for them. It's so difficult. Lasso is used, they don't get a kill. Chrono is used, the other team doesn't get a kill, you know? It's like they just don't have the necessary burst damage to take down any of these heroes. At the moment, though, we just have to wait for Taiga to start being active to get his Blink Dagger. Once that's up, I believe things will change a little bit. While on the side of NiP, I don't actually see any big power spikes. You have to wait for this Radiance, I guess, on Nyx, but it's not really a huge power spike when it comes to burst damage. However, Centaur.
They found him this time. The Earth Split is on point, but so's the Disruption. At this point, Universe needs to run and run fast, because Boxy does have the stomp. We won't talk about that. We'll just walk away very quickly.
Like look at this. They're fighting for 1 minute. No one can die. You know, like, they just can't kill anyone. Both of these teams draft severely lacking damage. It's very difficult to take down targets.
When you get philosophical about it, Liz, no one truly dies in Dota, right? They just come back. So they've just extended that theory beyond its normal constraints to the full game. No one will die. We're going to stay at 4-4 until we're 44 minutes into the game. Towers might die, creeps might die, but heroes are returned.
But
except Gambler.
All right, I'll go with that. Taiga has been dusted, and there's the Disruption. I mean, this is also a big props to Insania, you know, the way that he has played. He's been around every single time someone tries to take down a target. He's there to save it with the Disruption. And I mean, using the Disruption isn't really a big thing. It's not difficult. It doesn't take a lot of skill to press 2 buttons. But being at the right time, in the right position, like, over and over again.
On point. That's the key part here. It's like, yeah, it's an easy hero to do, but it's a hard hero to survive on.
Exactly.
Maybe also part of that is on NiP always going on not Shadow Demon. I mean, this stage of the game, it's not that big a deal if you just choose to open up and kill only a support, right? Like, later on you hate that, but...
Definitely, but you can't because Insania is always hiding right now, and you don't have any ways of picking a target off. You know, like, you don't have a Blink Dagger on anyone, you can't jump. Batrider when travels drums, so he's all into farming and stuff. He's not really into getting pick-offs at the moment. So both of these teams are pretty much happy with farm. However, I don't think NiP should be super happy about that. Boxy bottom lane. And travels on bat.
Here they come. In fact, they are rotating the entire team for Boxy. He needs to get out. Nice stomp. Stampede. And NiP just rotated 5 heroes for a Stampede.
Yeah, that sounds great because TA is farming around mid lane, has that Dazzle, working towards Blink. Void is farming top lane. Like, they're just finding more space on this map and they're utilizing it better. However, Boxy did go out again and there's a train choo-choo through the forest. Here they come, but no.
Yeah, you don't want to go that deep. Once again, Insania's dead. Like, he has to go for Insania. Disruption. He'll drag the ball around like it's his toy. Boxy may actually go down, but Void's on the way in. The boat's coming through. Boxy with a beautiful stomp. Gonna set up a nice chrono. There it is on the 4 heroes. We'll turn around on the Gunner. The follow-up from TA as well. Oh, the side blades. Gunner gonna get low. The burst strike through. Tiger with the sandstorm down as well. Universe needs to get out, but it's too late. They are bleeding, hemorrhaging heroes as Skinner cannot escape either. And Beaver will be the last to fall, but inevitably will complete the team wipe.
It's a trap indeed. I mean, ultra kill for Qualifier, and it was just a matter of time until this happened. Like, NiP, they try to go for that play. They try to take down a Centaur, and they do manage to, but man, they lose everyone. You just don't have the damage. That's the bottom. Like, that's everything. Like, NiP, I think the hero that did the most in that whole fight was Rubik. He, like, fade bolted a couple of times. He stole a hoof stomp, double edge, whatever from Centaur. He was really trying hard. But it's difficult when you're rotating your whole team to take down a Centaur and you still barely get him. One of the reasons why they're playing this way, it's not like they don't understand what they're doing. They do, but they have a Nyx, and it's their only core that's going into this Radiance. The rest of them, like Batrider on mid and Kunkka, they aren't going to scale like Void plus TA. And they understand that they're a little bit on a clock. And they have to do something. That's why they mess up that fight. That's why they are so eager to fight around the tier 2 even and around the shrine.
Yeah, it's beginning to look kind of desperate. I think would be a fair way to kind of assess that. The move bot, then the kind of reconversions on bot when it's even more obvious. And do you feel like maybe Batrider, this type of build is kind of like the typical one you want to do to keep up in terms of farm, but you're never going to have the same net worth impact with these type of items as a Void or a TA? I'm wondering if, like, going a blink sooner might have been better.
It maybe would have allowed them to get these crucial pickoffs earlier, right? Like, to slow down the Void or the TA. But I don't actually see that working too, because... Alright, another kill on Rubik. The problem with that build is you go for blink, you slow down a target, but inevitably, like, Void or TA are going to out-farm the hell out of you, and you won't be relevant at all later on.
Yeah, you kind of slow yourself down as well. It's the same reason like Tide Hunters don't build blink daggers until maybe 3rd, 4th, sometimes even 5th item, because it's great, but Batrider is a similar hero in that it's a big cooldown on your pickoff spell, right? It's 100 seconds, 90 seconds, and what can you do with the blink dagger in that downtime?
Yeah, the downtime is always the problem. Very interesting from Liquid that they just rotated everyone top and they left the 2 bounties bottom to be picked up by Skitter. Now Boxy runs back, hey guys, we forgot something, you know. But already Nyx has taken those 2 bounties and they go straight into the pit because they got that one good rune, that little double damage rune that spawns in front of Rosh.
Oh, a certain place is allowed to spawn now. Did you not see the secret update they made? It was 0.22 Z, right? Because they knew it was going to be the final patch they do with this one, where they just made it so that DDs always spawn top and giant death runes that instantly kill anyone who picks up spawn bot now.
Oh, right.
I felt like I was making that too convincing, so I had to put something in there to remind people this is just me memeing about DDs. Otherwise, someone's be like, "What?"
But no, but like I was actually thinking. All right, you know, like when you were saying this, I know you're joking, but I was thinking, all right, but I was trying to make sense out of the giant dead rune on the bottom lane, and you know what? It does make sense because you see so many teams just die on this bottom rune. You know, like teams make baits. Like you see so many baits around runes right now in the tier 1 scene, at least. You just wait around that rune when it spawns, and then you get the pick off.
Oh, especially the supports, right? The supports as well. They'll sit there like they're trying to guard the rune for the carry, and that's how the fight starts.
Because you know what, like the margin of error is smaller and smaller. The teams are playing better and better. You aren't gonna catch someone out on a bounty rune, you know. Like he's gonna have teammates around. Like it's very difficult to say that you will find reliable pickoffs on the bounty runes because teams are so careful around them. But around runes, they aren't still, you know, like you see this rune, you see they don't pick it up.
They move past it,
because
he got Radiance and he dies for it.
Yeah. he has Radiance. Because of that Radiance, he was going towards the illusion room. He wanted to have those 2 illusions running around with Radiance. And now Beaver is gonna fall through.
They actually chrono for him. The stomp. I mean, they'll still get Rubik afterwards, but this is a bit of an awkward one. PPD's been blocked by the illusions they just created. Burrow Strike across. So they might be able to clean him up as well. Jumping by Quickfire needs one more hit. And nice big wand. No bash from Mike. X, he needs to get out. Luckily for him, Universe used everything.
This draft from NiP is just shattering right now. Batrider isn't contributing to his team, and Nikes had to wait so much to get that Radiance, and by the time he gets the Radiance, TA and Void can just shred through him, so not really the best position to be in.
Gunner? Tiger knows where he is. There's a ward here for Gunner, but Tiger... Can he blink guess? Oh, there's the trap. He doesn't need to blink guess. He knows exactly where the target is. Firefly is trying to escape. He's the lasso, but this is a please don't kill me lasso if I've ever seen one.
He is pretty fast though, and he's gonna try to escape, but
the time dilation flipped him.
Yeah. He's just gone.
That spell is so deceptive, right? It doesn't look like it has the radius that it does.
But it does, yeah. It clips you. It clips you from so far away. Like, I agree with you completely. But yeah, I don't see many ways for NiP to come back into this game. It's going to be very difficult. Like, usually, if you're playing a Nyx, you want to have another core that's able to dish out some sort of damage later on, right? But they truly don't. They just have this Lifestealer. And Skitter, I believe Skitter is the one of the first that started building like Radiant Solar Crest a few years ago, like 3 years ago. And he definitely understands this hero really well and plays him really well. So perhaps he can somehow carry them. But it's going to be very difficult for him to do it on his own. Because his second core is a bat. It's purely pick-off oriented hero, right? And split push. Split push, pick-off, that's it. And his offlaner is Universe with the Kunkka that went for Solar Crest Vlad's full utility. It's all on Skitter to dish out the damage needed. And what's gonna happen once they have MKB on Void and he chronos the Nyx? Like, you don't have any saves for him. Like, BKB, MKB, chrono, Nyx is dead. You can't save. And
speaking of BKBs, Mike's got one coming out now. And this is the other big concern. When you're forced as a Lifestealer to start going for things like the Armlet and maybe a Desolator, there's that worry that you maybe get kited. And when the BKBs come online for Liquid, that's what's going to happen in conjunction with the Stampedes. Speaking of Skid Up, he's been found. That damage is gone. And actually, Tiger, look at him go. He says, I want El Capitan too. Let's move right in. The boat's coming through to try and protect PPD, but he knows he's done and dusted. Poison, sidesteps it. Quakefor has the blink though. One tap will do it. They'll still hunt for more, but won't find anything.
Yeah, godlike. At least Gunnar steals one bounty rune on the top lane. But man, I haven't seen this guy with his team at all the whole game. Batrider is just not around. He's playing his own game. He's in his own 1 versus 9 game of Dotes.
It's like he's sitting there going, that's not like they got Nyx. It's not like there's something that will counter me from being greedy on the split push. It's like, yeah, that's great, but your team is dying constantly. And we've already identified that Lifestealer is the one that should be farming. So you feel like maybe Batrider should be rotating with people to make kills.
I believe this is the train of thought for him. Like, I'm a Batrider with travels. I'm going to take farm as aggressively as I can, and then I'll rotate in with travels when the fight starts. The problem for him is the enemy's team is like constructed in such a way that they blow you up so fast. By the time you use those travels and join the fight, there's no fight anymore. I believe if you're this Batrider, you should be the one starting them. And perhaps they will try that. They smoke up, they have this infest bomb now in the bat, but man, let's see if they can take down anyone. This Mike Void, if he isn't able to take out his BKB in time, perhaps...
Oh, jump in. Boxy goes first, and the last who's out, they knew they had to get rid of Insania first. Time dilation by Mike to make sure he can get out. But Insania's still doing his job. In reality, he tanked the gank.
Yeah, he tanked the gank. It's a position 5. You also saw Mike. He was thinking about chronoing them on that shrine. He was thinking about using his chrono, but there's no teammates around. TA isn't there. Shadow Demon is already dead. He's like, screw it. I'm just gonna escape. It's fine. We cut our losses. They use lasso, smoke, and an infest bomb just to get our position 5. We're good with that.
Yeah, the reality is that was probably the best NiP was going to get, because you saw Liquid's positioning, right? Like, the move from Boxy as well kind of reveals what was going on. They kind of predicted that. It goes back to that point you make about runes, right? What can happen at a rune in the river is kind of unpredictable, but teams have gotten so good at kind of anticipating these moves. We usually talk about you know, the desperate smoke out of the base, right? It's like, this is where you really need to find something. If you don't find anything at all, you're kind of out of the game. And while they're not at that extreme just yet, you can feel it starting to slip away from Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, I mean, they need to find a way to control the Shadow Demon and also take down Void at the same time, I think. One good thing for them is TA and Void are definitely heroes that you can kill. Oh my god, Skitter.
Yeah, that was greedy, and he's lucky they don't have the hero. Well, he knows they don't have the heroes here. They did just kill his captain top, but that's still risky.
They could have went on him. At the same time, there's Gunnar just split pushing bottom lane, chilling.
Oh, Boxy catches too. And the trap follow-up, stun through to make sure there's no rage. Opportunity skill, finally get it out. Damage being done. BKB even quicker. Beaver should be going down. Stampede to chase through. The stolen Stampede used to try and get Gunnar up the bashes. Lasso is going to drag the Void away from him, but the trap is there. Boxy follows up with a stun, and Gunnar finds himself dead and soon to be back in his found.
I mean, they're just getting picked off anywhere. Like, you know you're in a bad spot when a Centaur can do what he just did there. He stunned them miles away from his teammates, and he's like, yeah, you guys have time. I'm gonna play with them a little bit, rough them up, and then you come up and follow up. So we killed Rubik, perhaps the Nikes too. Also, it's not an easy game for Nikes, by the way. There's Shadow Demon versus. Usually it's a hero that's considered to be pretty strong versus Nikes, since you have that purge to work with.
True, and also any hero that builds Radiance is even more value for the Shadow Demon.
For the illusions, definitely, yeah. Most likely, the disruption won't be used in that way. Like, it's usually just to save your teammates, right? Versus the bat, but at some point you could do that.
Especially if you get to that later stage in the game when you get multiple charges of disruption. It's kind of funny, like, the way you mentioned what Boxy done there, and that's kind of been the way the last 7-8 minutes have been playing out for Liquid is, you know, Boxy, or maybe it's a Tiger or something like that, is this cat that's just found a mouse and has killed it, right? And they're playing with it. And then TA and Void just show up as the annoyed owners of the cat and just pick up the mouse and throw it in the bin.
Pretty much.
Basically, the end of this chat is the NiP
so
are getting a
you're
little bit
telling that
dumpsters.
they're rats. You're calling NiP rats.
Well, no, I'm just saying they're getting thrown in the trash right now. They're getting completely dunked into the trash can by Liquid.
Man, I tried to go easy on them and on you.
I mean, this is looking pretty brutal, right?
But you just called them garbage, like.
No, I'm saying they're being handled like garbage with care, delicacy, but in the end, Liquid just want to get rid of them, and they might do that. Boxy blinks in. Oh, stomp off the mark. But Boxy is a hard kill with a pipe as well. They have to go for someone else. They see Insania. There's the save of the disruption. The last on the back line to control Mike, but the BKB moving across. Everything on a skidder. One bash will secure his death. They don't even need it. The stomp way too late to help. The stolen Stampede to move away, but the chrono is there. Catches out Gunnar. Buyback comes out from skidder. He needs to get in here to do it quick. Now stun out. PBD down to half HP. The Sandstorm's killing him quicker than he's killing Tiger right now. Mike being controlled up in the meantime. Will look to move across with the time walk towards PPD for the stomp. Nope. Bash burst hit. That's the RNG he's been looking for. Chase through Universe. 2 more hits would do it, but Quick can't get close enough. He does have the blink, but he wants Skidder. That's the bigger target. That's the dieback, and that could be their win condition. 90 seconds without the life stealer, and no way to change that. The mid is exposed as well, and that's why immediately Gunnar moves there to push it out. And he will leave more behind as Kunkka gets found in the tree line.
Yeah, they got 4, and the buyback from the Nikes, dieback that is. And also the way Void played that fight. He just walks where Bat is porting in. He doesn't chrono, doesn't do anything. He just stands there. And as Bat ports in, he lassos him. But he can't. There's no damage necessary as Nikes is controlled. I think this is like mostly draft issue for NiP. This draft only works if you completely crush TA on mid lane. But Gunnar didn't manage to do that. And he will fall here, I believe.
I mean, even Void, it was similar to the lifesteal in terms of net worth through those early stages. And bye-bye to Gunnar and bye-bye to Beaver. This is going to be at least 2 lanes.
I mean, they could call it at this point, to be honest. They have Aegis, Cheese. Aegis is on TA, Cheese is on Void. I don't see how you defend this. Like, maybe Liquid will go back and respect them, you know, but they could easily just go Throne and play with them, just end the game.
Mike goes in, forces the buyback out of Gunnar. There is an X on the Mike. He has the BKB though. He'll just time walk away.
2 Raxes, 2 lanes. They go back. Easy for them. Also, they force the buyback from the Batrider.
I mean, this is how confident Liquid are feeling now, right? Their save mechanic throughout this game wasn't even there top. Insania was bot the entire time, just shoving it out.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
The thing is, they didn't want to go Throne because it's always possible that Batrider pulls one out to the fountain, you know? You make the game longer than necessary. You make the game harder for yourself.
Jump in. They see Insania. The last hit him as well. They're trying to get him. He saves himself with Disruption. There it is. Stampede. Control up Boxy with the X. The Dragon back. No, Mike's there with the Chrono. Jump in. Insania will die to Skid is burned, but Gunner will go down as well. Mike's BKB active. Time Walk to get himself back. Skidder won't get bashed just yet. PPD is going to be chased down though. Universe. Torrent to protect, but there's the bashes and Lifestealer's gone. They'll follow up across to another kill, but they can't find it, but they will find PPD in the trees. He will go down very quickly. And this is going to be Liquid probably just going back in the base. There it is. PPD calls it. He knows this one is over. Game 1. Liquid take it. Best of 3. Back to the drawing board for NiP.
Yep. That's it. Overall, I think what you said earlier really hit the nail on the head. You need to give Gunnar his heroes and just don't give him something that counters, you know, like just give him his heroes and play off of that. This wasn't really the best performance, not only by him, but by his own team. He didn't really contribute a lot after the laning stage, but the problem is in that laning stage, they needed to find a way to crush that TA. Perhaps rotate a bit more with other heroes, perhaps try to block her camps or something, because if you're picking this path, putting him mid and he's not crushing TA, like he falls off. You're playing versus TA and Void. They're inevitably going to win. You're just missing damage. You're just lacking damage severely on this lineup, and that's what happened. You could see throughout the mid game, after the laning stage, they would try to get some pickoffs. Like they would rotate 5 heroes and they wouldn't get anything. Like that tier 2 was the moment in which they cracked, right? They were trying. They went for the tier 2 attack on Centaur. They got chronoed, ultra kill for TA. And from then on, I had no doubts that Liquid is taking this game.
That's true. They started to slip away at that point, right? And then they got the kind of sunken cost fallacy where it's like, oh man, you know what? We just spent like half a minute or so getting down here. And the moment they saw someone show, they were like, okay, this move we're making is predictable now, but we kind of have to go. We feel like we have to go. And out of all the heroes you have to go on, Boxy is definitely not the one you want to. But yeah, I think it goes back to the mid scenario, right? Like Batrider, it's not really a Gunner type hero. I feel like actually with the changes to the meta and the mid dynamics, Gunner is kind of suited to Cruise right now. Like you like to see him on these heroes like an Invoker as a perfect example, or maybe something like a Puck or a Queen of Pain. Something that lets him style potentially on his opponent, still farm, but rotate. And it's weird because Batrider can rotate, but the build that's still seen as the most efficient isn't a I'm going to come kill rotation. It's like a I'm going to go farm and push out all the lanes rotation. Well, that's the result. Liquid, 1 game up. 33-minute game, but as you said, from a very early point, it looked like they were in control. So we'll go to a short break and then we'll come back. And we'll see if Liquid can control the outcome of this series to a 2-game win, or if NiP is going to force this to a 3rd.